Oh, g'day, mate. I have had an unnecessary hatred for rice cookers. Totally unnecessary, totally unwarranted. I've never been a fan of single-use appliances, save perhaps for the toaster. But even then, we've got grills. It's a lot of bench space taken up for a single-use appliance. Just so you can make toast. I guess you have toast every day. Many people have rice every day. I'd like to have rice more often. I realized the issue. It wasn't me. It was other people. We got a rice cooker recently, and it's bloody brilliant. And the reason being is because you clean it immediately. Shit, it seems so obvious. It's a non-stick thing, you gotta clean it immediately. If anything's stuck onto it, you can't scour it. But there's nothing been more infuriating in my life than finding a rice cooker pot that has been sitting by the sink forever. For a couple of hours, a night perhaps, even a day. And it's nigh impossible to clean without destroying the damn thing. But if you clean a rice cooker immediately, fucking hell, it's piss easy. It's a beautiful thing. So now I'm a fan of the rice cooker. And I curse housemates, perhaps. I curse housemates who have left rice cookers uncleaned. I used to work in a Thai restaurant. And I would have to clean the rice cookers at the end of the night. And that was okay. But some of the non-stick surface had come off. And so things would stick. And that was a nightmare. Hey, welcome to In the Back of My Head podcast. Episode 46? Maybe. I never check before I record. A little weekly creative journal where I talk about what's on my mind, what's in the back of my head, talk about what's going on, and try and make sense of it all, mate, as a creative. It's very wank, but it's very useful to me to get some, even if the thoughts aren't always formulated perfectly or worked through perfectly on here. What it does force me to do is just think a little bit more about creative practices and the hurdles that I will that I uncover. I'm thinking about one recently. I've actually had it's a busy week. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff that I'm getting done. It's really been a busy few months. An insane few months of tying up a lot of loose projects. Loose ends, finishing a lot of projects. Ending a lot of gigs that we've been running with our collective. And putting together things like we've got a poetry book on the way that we are releasing, and that I need to correlate all of these poems. And that has taken a lot of time. And there's days when it feels like homework. There's days when it feels like, I guess, to the point where I want to do other things for myself right now so badly. And there's these things that I've said that I'm going to do that I don't really want to do right now. But I realized that is important to manage. It is important to manage those extra things that you do that aren't purely for yourself. Not that you should also prioritize things that are just for yourself all the time. It's an interesting I think maybe, I was gonna say a duality, not a duality, but like a kind of a flip side to the self-care movement. The flip side to the self-care trend of always prioritizing yourself, which is very important. I'm someone who says yes to a lot of things, could be argued as a people pleaser in some regards not. But I feel like the flip side to that kind of self-care trend can be that you forget the importance of those extra things that you do that are more community focused, that will help your mental health and help your sense of community. So like yes, saying yes to doing a lot of things for me is ends up me doing a lot of work. But I'm also happier than I've ever been. I still need to find that line. I still need to dance around that line a little bit, figure it out, because I'm doing too much, and I've done a good job actually of the last few months of stripping things back. And I think coming into these colder months, I am actually going to have a lot more time to just work on my own creative stuff, which is cool. But there's something to be said about doing all of this extra work for others, in a sense, that gives me a sense of purpose and a sense of community, and improves my mental health drastically. Worth doing. Worth thinking about, at least. And so I've been thinking about these extra things that I'm doing. Thinking about these extra things, thinking about the days that are real busy. Thinking about the days when I have a lot on my to-do list, but I would like to be creative. And those days can be really, really frustrating because you feel like you have this energy to do a thing that you want to do, and you are held back by these things that you say you want to do, and you do want to do them. But on the other hand, feel like obligations now. But a different way of putting it that I came to recently was like working out, which I am terrible at doing. I don't do any bloody exercise. And the hardest part always of doing the exercise is the starting from the start. If it's part of your routine you're doing every single day, so much easier. So much easier. If every single day you get up and you go for a run, then every day you go up and you get up and go for a run, you know? I can't remember, I've heard before that there's a certain number of times you have to do a thing before it becomes a routine. I'm thinking of it in terms of momentum. These extra little things, because also you don't feel creative all the time. You don't feel that inspired level of creativity all the time. You don't feel like writing your magnum opus every single day. That's insane. That's stupid. But you want to be creative to stretch those muscles, strengthen them, practice, obviously. But I feel like practice, I've never been someone who practices. Like I've never been someone who can sit down and play my scales on the piano or play my scales on the guitar or what have you. Or does projects, visual projects just to learn a thing. If I can't immediately apply the thing that I'm trying to learn to a project that I want to do, it's not happening. And I've grown up around jazz musicians a fair bit because of my brother, and he is someone who will practice for 8 hours a day. When at the height of his, like when he was in studying jazz, yeah, let's say 6 hours. 6 hours of practice a day, maybe more. And just going over scales, learning pieces, transposing music. And obviously it's towards an outcome of being a great musician. But I cannot, for the life of me, and I've tried to like sit down and just practice a thing to get good at a thing. And I find I just don't have the mental fortitude to pull it off. And so instead I think because I can't understand the outcome. There is no outcome. There's no real outcome. There is, you get good at a thing. But there's no like immediately tangible outcome, which is perhaps a character flaw. Perhaps a character flaw. I wonder this about when working as well. When I work, I've had people say before, like, oh, just think of the money. Just think of the money you're earning. And I've tried to do that. I've tried to be like, yeah, okay, this hour I just got an extra $30. It doesn't seem tangible. It's not real. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for me to like, there's no actual outcome of me going to work. There is, I get paid. But in my brain, it just doesn't register. And same with practicing. I know it's going towards something bigger, better at some point. But in this moment, I just can't see it or feel it. And again, it could be considered a character flaw. But I think my way of doing it instead has always been outcome focused, which I want to sort of get away from it at the same time, because that's kind of like just creating content, you know, it's just like this, you get addicted to releasing things, you get addicted to finishing things and putting it out there, but in a way that's almost like a slot machine. You're pulling the lever and hoping that your thing does well, people like it. There's a duality there. However, at the same time, having that constant thing, immediate outcome of the thing that you're doing keeps me moving constantly. It keeps up my momentum. And I think it takes me maybe longer to learn things because of that tactic. But it's kept me going for over 10 years of creating stuff, you know? Be it released on the internet or otherwise. I remember like, visual art's a good one. Visual art's a good one. Like, I've drawn a lot in my life. I've never really enjoyed the art of just sitting down and drawing. What I've really enjoyed is having a finished product quite quickly. And so the trick for me to start drawing all the time was to just set a daily goal that I'm going to put out a cartoon every single day. This is a while back. I don't do this anymore, but that was my tactic. I was like, I want something to do like this. I want to draw every day. But just drawing every day just didn't feel like there was a real outcome to it. However, if I said, yeah, I want to start releasing a cartoon every single day, and that's sort of a project in itself, then the act of drawing is a little path to that success. And then you uncover the problems that you need to solve. Then you uncover the problems that you need to, as your practice is very focused on, I want to do this thing today. I don't know how to do that thing. I don't know how to draw that thing. I don't know how to edit that thing. I want to achieve this particular visual style today, and I don't know how to. Simple goal, straight away. The practice makes sense. It is immediately applied. and then you move on to the next thing. And so I think about this with all my creative projects with Vibe Union, which on the days when I'm not super creative are keeping my momentum and my practice up so much. Things like video editing, like I've started putting out more videos for my music, and the reason that I have the skills to do that are all from Vibe Union. And it's easy to tie it all in because I'm already working. I feel like I've got two concepts that are battling to be the focus of this video. They are competing, they are struggling to fight one another, they're duking it out. My main point is the momentum. Is keeping up your creative momentum. Is finding things that you can do that when you're not super driven to put something out, to work on a project, to work on a creative outlet, you still have to. There's still something you kind of need to be doing. This works because I have a lot of fucking time on my hands as well. There is that element. I don't go to work. I have 1 day a week of work. So, I have time to focus on my creativity and to pour all this time into keeping up my momentum. But I still think that applies if you're trying to do a thing, then it's so hard to just start. It's so hard to start. It's running up that hill, making a deal with God. If you take a break from running every day in the morning and then you come back to it, that day's gonna be the fucking hardest one. But if it's the 5th day in your week and you've just done it every day and you're just like, this is what I do now, then piss easy, right? Not always piss easy, not always easy. This isn't a surefire bet, nothing's a surefire bet. But I think to my creative output in the past, which has always been high, but I was thinking like, shouldn't it have slowed down since I'm doing so much Vibe Union stuff, since I'm putting out so much work through my creative collective? Running events and making videos and books and shit, shouldn't that tie up so much of my time? And instead, what I've found is that because my momentum is so high, I'm running at such a fast pace already due to that, it's actually easier to just throw myself into the next little creative thing and get it done quite quickly. One, because I have a whole bunch of skills that I have practiced, because I keep finding problems I need to solve through doing these other things. And second of all, because I'm just in that mindset already. I'm in go mode all the time because I sort of have to be, because I have set up all these things that just don't have to get done. But I think they have to get done. In my head, they have to get done. So I'll get them done. Does that make sense? Did that make sense to you? Did that make sense to me? Oh gosh, I don't know. Every time I'm doing this, there's always that moment of like, what the fuck am I talking about? But I think it's valid. It depends on who you are though, which is the point of doing it, which is the point of like talking about all this on here really, is obviously for me to like work through some shit in my head about what I'm doing, because it's an entirely self-disciplined thing to do, to be a creative in any capacity. So there's so many mental blocks that are passed down from parents, society, your surroundings, your friends, everything. Your own crippling self-doubt. But also to point out that like, there's no answers. I don't have any answers to any of this stuff. It's all just working out what works best for you. But I do think keeping your creative momentum up is a surefire way to keep your output up, obviously. Starting from the start every single time is rough and is a huge barrier to actually finishing projects. All right, that's it. That's my thoughts for today on momentum, on creative momentum. I got a little spoken word piece coming out on Saturday. Keep an eye out for that. I filmed it in the shower. I'm clothed. Or am I? I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful week or whenever you're watching this. I hope you're wonderful. I hope you're feeling wonderful today. You look wonderful. You smell wonderful. That's it. In the Back of My Head podcast. Hey, subscribe to my Patreon if you want to, or don't. Go to my just follow all my I don't know, man. It's all that bullshit at the end you gotta do. Peace out. Love you very much. Mwah.